I'd certainly take a long, hard look at trying to take some or all of this $45,000 that we've been giving to the chamber to promote this Miss Teenage American pageant.
And give it to whom?
And well, we'd have to give it to into the budget of the Tarrant County Convention Center, or get some organization maybe to sponsor it and promote it for us. But I certainly am in favor of trying to go all out to keep it here.
Well, the charge has been made over and over again that the chamber just hasn't done a very good job with it. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree to this extent. I don't. Evidently, they haven't, or somebody hadn't, because we certainly haven't been getting the people out that should be coming out and seeing this.
The theme of the conference is Designing Ventures, and for the 1,000 or so elementary school principals and supervisors in this room, it's their 23rd annual meeting. The two-day session will focus on such problems as better programs for students, more adequate libraries, better counseling for the students, and better principal-parent, principal-teacher relationships. The biggest problem, however, is an old one: keeping the child as an individual within the classroom. I asked the president of the statewide association, William C. Harter, what would be the effect upon that child of keeping that child as an individual?
This would help the child meet his individual needs. All children do not have the same desires, and they also maybe have different capabilities. And this would help each child maybe fit himself into society to where he could better become a productive citizen, and to make him feel like he is worthwhile. This is what we would like to accomplish, as working the child as an individual.
The conference will conclude tomorrow afternoon. This room is filled with about 1,000 educators. No place for a truant student today. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move at the Adolphus Hotel.
You know, we're not going to answer this poverty thing until our society, number one, gets together and rids ourselves of a few prejudices that still hold on from old days. But we've also got to do some training. We're in a complex society. And I don't care who the man is, what his age is, or anything else, there is something that person can contribute to our society. In some instances, we may have to train or retrain people. In that respect, I say we can't do enough in the way of war on poverty, to train folks and prepare them to take their place at their very best capabilities.
And the 8th semifinalist is 16-year-old Colleen Fitzpatrick from Columbus, Ohio. There they are. One of these girls will be the new Miss Teenage America.
So far, only India has recognized Bangladesh as a country, and I believe within a very short time, a lot of other countries of the world, they will also recognize Bangladesh as a country. And I'm pretty sure that Bangladesh can stand as an independent country, and I hope the people of Bangladesh will live a better life what they did before under the West Pakistani military ruler.
Are you worried about your family over there now?
I'm very, very much worried about my family. Lately,
Mike, you've run to the ball a number of times this year, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Well, quite a few.
How would you like to do it again in Wichita Falls?
I like to a lot. I really want to.
How could you compare your team effort against Colleen? Was it a good game?
Well, no. Never could break the long one, or couldn't get in the backfield. Hardly I'd always be hit on the line, but this week we're putting on some stuff, and I'm going to get there one way or the other.
How does Wichita Falls defense, according to scouting reports, compare, say, with the toughest defensive team you played this year?
Well, they've got a linebacker that you can't get to too much, and we're going to try to, if we can get him, I'll get in the backfield, I'll get in the secondary some way, and I'll go.
Paul, you looking forward to the game?
Yes, I sure am. I've been waiting to play Wichita Falls for a long time.
They've always been a strong contender, haven't they?
Yes, they sure have.
Would you say that your game against Colleen was your best effort of the year?
Yes, sir, I feel like it was. It finally got a chance to show something.
I know the film showed you in on quite a few tackles. What position you play on defense?
Linebacker, yes, sir.
What is this linebacker that Mike was talking about up at Wichita Falls?
Well, he's short and he plays a good pursuit. And he's a good ball player. They have two good, real fine linebackers, but the short one's pretty good. He's better than two.
What would be your duties against the Wichita Falls offensive attack?
Well, mostly just containing Littleton. He's a good ball player, and that's mostly it. He's mostly their offense.
Is Littleton the reason you've been waiting to play Wichita Falls for a long time, or the fact that they've been a perennial power in high school football?
Well, a lot of people think they're the best, but Littleton's good, but I think they're altogether a fine ball club, and I've just been wanting to play them.
We have a lot of incentive to play, and you always have incentive in the semifinals, and of course losing to them gives us just a little bit more.
How do they compare this year with last year?
Jerry, they've got 8 offensive starters back, and they haven't changed as far as what they're doing, so they're a little bit better offensive football team, I think, just based on experience. And defense, I'd say, is very close also.
Do they run more than they pass?
They're a pretty well balanced ball club. They can run well, and they throw pretty often, a little more so than we do.
Well, now, since there is no covering of Amon Carter Stadium, it could be a little bit muddy, couldn't it?
Well, it's possible. I think if the rain let up a little bit here, though, we should have pretty good turf. The field's in real good shape for this time of year, so I anticipate a pretty good footing.
If it were a bit muddy, which team would have the advantage?
I really don't think it's going to affect us a lot. We've played in the rain and played well, and we're very close to the same size, so I don't see too much effect on the ball game as far as being an advantage to one team or the other.
Rudolph Fuchs is a weaver. He taught himself to weave from a book on a mail-order loom, and now teaches the ancient craft at North Texas State University, where he's been a member of the staff for 42 years. He shares his creative talent with about 500 friends at Christmas time. In his home on the outskirts of Denton, he weaves his Christmas cards.
Well, since I've been weaving quite a while, I decided maybe I should do something for Christmas. And I think it was around 1957, I made the first Christmas cards, and I've made them every year since.
A different design every year?
Try to have a different design each time, yes. course, the Christmas cards I don't start until that middle of October, or maybe around the 1st of November. Doesn't take long once the idea has gelled.
Is that what takes the longest time, setting up the design and deciding what you're going to do?
Yes, I take the cross-section paper and work out designs that are suitable for weaving. And once that's decided, for instance, the design this year was more complicated than I had hoped. So I drew at least 10 different ways of doing it, probably more, before I found out I could do it on the loom.
Mr. Fox takes the woven cloth, cuts out the individual designs, and glues them on paper to make each hand-lettered card. They're worthy of framing, which lots of people do. Complicated-looking tapestries hang from his walls. Even bedspreads, curtains, his ties, and his Christmas tree all come from one of his looms. His philosophy is a peaceful contrast to the one shared by those frantically involved in the Christmas rush.
I think we live in such a mechanized world that working with your hands, you get closer to the soil again, let's say, and you learn to appreciate beauty in handmade things. And I think we find that true in ceramics and jewelry and so on, becoming more and more popular with many people.
Is it soothing?
Yes, you can feel that everything is going wrong and just pound the heck out of it for the loom a while, and everything seems to smooth out again.
For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Judi Hanna.